Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing you another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on a game between Iris and Nalra, and it's a game I'm very excited about. These two guys are definitely great StarCraft players. Nalra, of course, is one of the all-time great StarCraft players, probably considered along with Reach to be one of the greatest StarCraft players greatest Protoss players of all time, and obviously Bisu has added his name to that list along with possibly Stork. But definitely Ra has been around for a long time, and he has been, in my opinion, one of the more consistent pro gamers, one of the more consistent all-time greats. You see him pretty much every season getting into the OSL and MSL. He did have a torrid time of it last season, unfortunately, losing quite a lot in Protoss versus Protoss to Stork, losing Protoss versus Zerg to July, and just having a terrible time of it, really not progressing very far and not looking very comfortable either. So maybe it's too much StarCraft, maybe some of his motivation has gone down, but he still tends to be there or thereabouts when the new tournaments come around. And this matchup is actually for the World Cyber Games. And again, as I've said in my previous commentary on the World Cyber Games qualifiers, that players tend to focus less on this tournament, which gives players who are not really doing that well in the OSL and the MSL a better chance of progressing through, and that's why you generally don't see the OSL MSL winners at the World Cyber Games, because they're focusing their practice more on this, and this is a grueling competition itself. But I think the difference this time around is that the maps used in the World Cyber Games competition this time around are Python, Shin, Peaks of Bikedu, which is what we're playing now, and Tau Cross. And these are maps that have been used in the MSL and OSL this season, though I haven't seen Tau Cross used too much, but definitely Python and Shin Peaks of Bikedu are still being played. They were played last season as well, so that does mean that the players don't have to practice separately for these matchups as much as they would otherwise have to if they were, say, playing on maps like Luna, the final. So that definitely does play a role in it, and I'll be interested. And Nalra looks like he's going for a fast expand here. Looks like he's going for a fast expand versus Iris. Looks like he might be going for a 14 Nexus, and that's exactly what he has done. So Nalra going for a bold strategy. It is a little bit risky on this map because scouting is very straightforward, and Iris seems to, for the moment, be going for more of a standard strategy. I haven't seen whether he started to put down that gas extractor yet, and if he does go for that refinery, then we will know that, and he has got his refinery up as well, so I missed that, I'm sorry about that. So Iris has got his refinery up as well, so Iris going for a tech build, so this is going to be crucial here. If Iris, I don't believe has scouted yet, and that's a little bit of a mistake for him. Nalra sent his probe out after starting up that Nexus, and Iris has blocked off his choke, basically. So, but the key here is that Iris has not scouted. We have seen, though, since Boxer's phenomenal strategy of rushing, and that was actually against Nalra, and that was on the map Nemesis. So if we see that sort of strategy, Iris definitely not going for that sort of for any sort of rush strategy. He's just lifted his barracks, so he's putting that factory up now, so he's not going for that 2 barracks fast medic and marine rush that we've seen. That definitely is something that might be viable on a map like this if a Protoss player fast expands, but again, this is not a map that you would expect a Protoss player to necessarily, and this is very unorthodox. You very rarely see a Protoss player setting up a Nexus and photon cannons on Shin Peaks of Bikedu first off against a Terran player, and again, that's because of the ease of scouting, because a Terran player scouting early enough will see it long before the Protoss players any defenses up and will be able to counter accordingly. However, Iris has now gone for that factory, so Iris will be trying to get those siege tanks up and get that push going ASAP, because he knows that Nalra is behind. So Iris has to now press ahead, his technological advantage. He has to press ahead. I think if he switches to an economy type of build, if he tries to go for that command center now straight away, he might find that he's too far behind, because Nalra has got that expansion up quite early. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of build Iris uses to counter this. It looks like Iris actually decided that he's going to take advantage of the opportunity to go for a command center himself, because he obviously feels comfortable enough in his tech lead that he can probably slow Nalra down a little bit. And Iris, again, I want to talk a little bit about Iris, because he's a great StarCraft player. He's always been there or thereabouts. Last season in the OSL, he lost in the semi-finals, unfortunately, to Savior. That was a great matchup. This time, he did overcome Savior, though I do submit that Monty Hall had a large part to play in that, and if the last map, instead of Monty Hall, had been perhaps Python or something else, the result of that game might have been different. But he did get through to the finals, and he had an absolutely epic mega series in the finals against GG Play. GG Play obviously coming out on top. If you guys saw that, that was just absolute brilliant StarCraft. I did actually commentate live on those games, but unfortunately my PC kept crashing. It's been crashing ever since the update on sc2.org. It keeps crashing if I'm watching games live, ever since the last TV Ants update. So unfortunately I lost all my sound files, and the guy who does have my sound files has not sent them to me. So I cannot sync those videos for you guys, unfortunately. But at some point in the future I might decide to commentate on them again, but obviously won't have that freshness factor. Anyway, Iris played brilliantly in the OSL last season, and the startling thing about Iris was not just that he played brilliantly, but that he played brilliantly in every single matchup. We saw the punishment he dealt out. I mean, turn versus turn is generally considered to be his strongest matchup, and he was very strong in turn versus turn. Nalra just getting that robotics facility up as well, realizing that he'll need to slow Iris down a little bit, and Iris now having switched over from that tech build to that command center, I'm not sure how that's really going to play out later on in the game, because he hasn't put any pressure on Nalra, hasn't really made Nalra pay any sort of price for that early Nexus just yet. So Iris content to just get that expansion up while he continues to tech up, and I think he's going to probably be pumping his mass tanks, getting ready for that push there, but he's given Nalra more than enough time to get the advantage of that economy going, of that extra Nexus, and possibly if Nalra was going to fast carriers to get far away along that tech tree as well. It'll be interesting to see what kind of build Nalra goes for, and Iris just scouting around with those vultures now. He's produced quite a few vultures, so he's just trying to establish some sort of map control, establish those spider mines, prevent Nalra from maneuvering around, prevent Nalra from having any sort of maneuverability on the map, and he's going to get up that ramp. Nalra hasn't blocked that ramp there, and Iris is going to get up that ramp, but one of the vultures is already dead. Iris now planting spider mines, so Nalra defending quite well here, but Iris was a little bit careless. He slowed his ascent up that ramp and allowed Nalra to come back with the Dragoons, and Nalra defending brilliantly. He's not lost a single Dragoon to those spider mines that Iris has planted, and great micro by Nalra, great brilliant micro, so he doesn't look to be too out of touch. Definitely great micro by him, and he's defended that successfully against Iris's vultures, and that's a little bit unfortunate that Zealot didn't take out all of the remaining spider mines, but he has cleared that ramp up for him, and he's going to be able to take out these vultures now. So as I was saying, Iris was spectacularly impressive last season, not just in his main matchup, which is turn versus turn, but we saw the punishment, the absolute destruction he dealt out to Stork as well in turn versus Protoss. That was frightening, and Stork had been ripping through his turn opponents. We saw what he did to Firebat Hero in the MSL semi-finals. That was frightening to behold, and yet despite that, and Nalra has got that robotic support bay up, so Iris really just, his pressure hasn't been very good, but you know, you've got to feel though that it doesn't necessarily mean that Nalra has taken a significant advantage in the game. Iris now getting that armory up because he suspects that Nalra is going for fast carriers with the build that he has. I haven't seen that for Nalra yet, so that'll be interesting. Nalra has put up a couple more gateways. I haven't yet seen him put up a starport unless I missed it. And Nalra not reinforcing that defense. Iris knew that was building, so Iris has now got 4 vultures up there. He's going to probably have some mines up on that ramp, and that's going to make it very difficult for... And Nalra now dropping behind Iris's SCV line, and a lot of SCVs get taken out. About 6 or 7 SCVs get taken out. Iris does have a couple of Goliaths though to deal with the shuttle, so that shuttle is not going to last very long because of those Goliaths. There is a spider mine there as well. The Goliaths have moved back, and Nalra finding the perfect spot. Oh my god, he just slaughters about 30,000 SCVs. Those SCVs, just SCV mass genocide committed by Nalra. That has to be against the Geneva Convention, guys. But meanwhile, Iris is pounding away at that new expansion that Nalra was trying to set up at the 11 o'clock position. I don't think Nalra will mind that too much. He did lose the 2 Dragoons he sent out to defend it, but that Nexus will still go up, and so Nalra will probably just retake that easily. But that's a big blow to Iris, and that really gives Nalra a significant advantage as far as I'm concerned. Iris losing about 5 million SCVs there to just the mass ethnic cleansing by Nalra of those SCVs, just Terran cleansing from Shin Peaks of Bekedu, and Iris continuing to harass Nalra with those vultures, and he's just trying to put some pressure on Nalra now with the ground forces that he does have, realizing that Nalra doesn't seem to have a lot of ground forces, trying to inflict some damage, counter damage here, because if he allows Nalra to continue up with that expansion uncontested, that's going to really hurt him. He's going to have a very difficult time, and with those SCVs all taken out, it's going to be very difficult for Iris to keep up a high production rate of units that he's going to need to push Nalra back and contain him and to take the game. And Nalra's just cranking up his production now. He's got his economy raving, and he's just cranking up the production. I still don't see any Stargate, so he's concentrating merely on the ground force. And I think that's a wise decision, especially since Iris has not produced any siege tanks as of yet, and I'm sure Nalra is aware of this. Iris concentrating primarily on vultures and Goliaths, and Iris trying to trap those Dragoons. He's done a great job. He takes out about 2 of the Dragoons. Nalra with some brilliant micro avoiding those spider mines, and Iris doing his best to try and trap those Dragoons. A few of those Dragoons are trapped, and Nalra is going to need an observer to try and clear out the rest of those spider mines.